Go ahead. I'd like to open up the meeting this morning. The design review. I don't know what time it is, 11:02 or 11:03.
10:02.
If we would please call the roll.
Mr. Dudek.
Here.
Mr. Manfres. Ms. Reedy.
Here.
Mr. Medanio.
Here.
Mr. Hummel.
Here.
Ms. Kane.
Here.
Mr. Sodel.
Here.
Did you have a chance to look at the, well, before that, I need a motion to excuse Ted. He had some family obligation this morning.
I so move. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. You've had a chance to look at the minutes. Are there any additions or corrections? If not, I need a motion to accept.
Motion to accept the minutes.
And I'll second. Okay.
So Cliff made the motion and Diane seconded. Do we need to call the roll for that?
I can.
We did.
Oh, no.
No, to accept it.
Well,
Mr. Dudek.
yes.
Ms. Reedy.
Yes.
Mr. Medanio.
Yes.
Mr. Hummel.
Yes.
Ms. Kane.
Yes.
Mr. Sodel.
Yes.
Okay, the first item on new business is PMHA, the AC condensing units for 219 West Main. Is there someone here? You three? Almost like an entourage.
We came with numbers.
Can you
it's not
come up
gonna
to
work.
this? Step up to the mic, please.
Sure.
And then give me your names. Besides Wes, I already know Wes.
Yes, Ted Miller from NB Engineers, and I have Ahmad Thomas
Okay.
with TC Architects, and you guys probably all know Wes.
Okay.
So you want to tell us a little bit about what you're trying to do?
What we're trying to do is provide new air conditioning systems, which would include heating as well, to the 20 residential units at the Etna House on Main Street. They currently just have electric baseboard. I believe the building's from 40-plus years. So the idea is to provide the air conditioning systems for the 20 residential units. And we're proposing to put, it would be a split system, of the mini split type, if you folks know what that is. I can see you have information up on the screen. But they are multi-zone systems where, and we're proposing either a 3-zone or a 4-zone, depending if it's a 1 or 2-bedroom apartment, with these condensing units on the roof and interior evaporators. That's the wall-mounted unit that provides air conditioning to the space. The multi-zone, there's no ductwork. It's all refrigerant piping and it's condensate piping. And then the power associated through each tenant panel to provide power. That's the gist of it. There's obviously some complications, or I shouldn't say complications. There's some challenges ahead. So before we got too far, we felt that we should schedule this meeting for your review and comment.
The units there, there's no ductwork because either that was boiler probably back in the day and now it's been changed to electric somewhere down the line.
Yes.
So there's no ductwork in place there, and that would be very expensive to try to do, to put into a four-stair system,
That would
correct?
be an understatement.
Okay.
Yes.
With the mini-split system, you said 3 zones. I know they make them up to 6 and 8 zones, actually, so you can do different rooms with them.
Yes.
So you're talking about probably, depending on the apartment size, 2 or 3 So one in the main room, one in the bedroom, and one in another room possibly for a 2 or 3 bedroom, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and those, you're saying you're gonna mount the split system itself on the roof, but
The
how?
outdoor unit will be mounted on the roof, and then the indoor units are just going to be wall hung.
How would you gain access into those rooms? Are I know how the piping works and how it gets there. It's small.
Right.
And that,
It's
so would that
small,
be,
and it's tubed, and it's
Right.
all banded together.
would that be interior, or would that be on the outside of the building?
Well, the bulk of it will be interior. So the structure is set up that the fourth floor is community and/or storage, and they have drop ceilings. So we can come down through the roof and snake through, and then come down vertically to each of the units. So the drawings kind of show, and there's a lot of piping there,
Oh,
but
boy, yeah.
the drawings show a preliminary routing, if you will. Okay? So, and there are suspended ceilings in each of the residences, so we have.
They've dropped the ceilings then over the years. I haven't been in there in years, but.
So we can hide the majority.
Two over here, these over the edge are
Through
fine,
the
you
fourth
can't
floor,
see them.
and
This
then
is,
down to the second and third floor where the
we need
residents
them all
are.
over here.
So they have suspended ceilings in the corridors as well as in each of the residents, so that gives us some halfway
You could,
to hide the pipe
but
all
that's,
internal.
sort of, you know, thing.
And then we'll come, yeah, and what we'll have is we'll have, for lack of a better term, I'll say tank farms, but we'll have pods of all these units up on the roof. And then we'll route them to a central pipe chase, which will mount actually on the roof. So the contractor has means to bring all this piping in, seal the roof opening, and make it watertight.
So this one, these will be heat pump types, so there will be heat from it too, down to a certain temperature outside.
That's correct.
About what SEER are those?
They should be listed, but
Okay.
they're really high.
Really efficient now. They've come a long way, I know.
They meet and exceed all the minimum requirements.
Even down to 0 now, they're taking heat out of the air, because down to absolute 0, right? There's still heat in the air, isn't that
Now,
correct?
in fact, there are some equipment, some vendors will stay -5.
Right,
So for Ohio, that's a good thing.
yeah.
The biggest challenge is the condensate piping, because every evaporator is going to have a condensate line. So we have to develop a plan to get that to an approved receptacle, such as a service sink. So one of the ideas, and then the other challenge too, is the refrigerant piping has a limitation as far as its length
Right.
from the outdoor unit.
The pump
to
can
the
only take it so far, right?
Yeah, so there's gonna be those couple units that will be on the northwest, and there's just no good place to put the outdoor unit. It will likely be visible from the street. All the other remaining ones we're trying to gather around the existing cupola, so we can kind of, that creates a natural screen to some extent. But we've got the couple units on that very northwest side of the building that the refrigerant piping length is just too long, and the unit won't work. So, when I spoke to Mr. Mathis, he suggested, well, maybe those 2 units you can mount on the outside wall. I said, well, that'd be great if the historical review would allow it, but my interpretation of most historic buildings do not mess with the exterior of the building. Or you may not want to have exposed equipment.
Yeah, I mean, I've been overseas a lot, and I've been in 1,000-year-old buildings. And it's the only way they can get air conditioning to them in the last 20 years is they went mini-split system.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they're out there where you can see them, but you got to do business. I mean, I understand. And this is the cheapest, I'm not gonna say cheapest, this is the most, yeah,
You know,
to be able to do it, right?
If I may,
Yeah.
where we want to mount units outside are where the two larger units are that heat and cool 219.
Okay.
It's kind of like in the back, so it won't be visible from Main Street. If you're back in the alleyway or something along, or like the street between here and the fire department, you'd be able to see from there. But on the second floor, you've got the 3 floors or the 4 floors that go up, but then on the back side, you've got a flat area on the second floor where the other AC stuff is, and we would like to put the majority of them there. And then the other ones on the same side behind the cupola, so very little of it should be, I mean, you may see some from Main Street, but we're trying to tuck away as much as possible.
Now, Wes brings up a good point, so we're gonna use the roof on 219. So the other challenge is how are we gonna snake that piping? You know, the roof it helps us, because one, the 4th floor is more storage and with the suspended ceilings and all that. So that lays out nicely, but there's gonna be some exposed pipe on that lower roof trying to get to the residences on the 2nd and 3rd floor. Now, they do have a product that's called line height. And line height is nothing more than, it looks like a downspout, right? And you can install the piping and they wrap the line height around all the piping.
Comes in different colors too, that you
Well, I
can try.
know they have white, I'll have to investigate. if
I've
another
seen other,
color.
maybe they painted it, but I've seen different colors too.
So, and then the other challenge, so you've got that challenge and then all the condensate piping. So I'm here today to ask if we can tie into existing downspouts on these condensate lines. but
David
that means
Hansford or Greer?
Exterior wall penetration. Somehow, now, the drawings show that it's all routed to surface sinks on the 2nd and 3rd floor. But in an effort to come up with a few more options, it is legal to tie condensate into downspouts. But we have to make exterior.
You have to change, you gotta there's no space in there, some of those, you're right. Yeah.
So,
Mine are hidden at my house underneath what looks like a downspout, and it works well, but on a house, it's different than the big building.
yeah, so you guys may not welcome that idea, but those are so the challenges is all the condensate piping and then any exposed piping on that lower roof at 219. So we haven't really gone any farther until we decided it was good to review this with you folks, which will take place. So those are the 2 biggest hiccups. We talked about just going with some window units, but then we have all these window units.
Look worse than what you're trying to do, probably.
We talked about, well, we could go chill water, but then you're gonna have to have an outdoor chill water, and all that piping, snaking it up, it just goes from bad to worse. So we've investigated other options, but the mini split just seems to be the way to go.
So I'm sure everybody else is thinking this too. What are you asking for today? You don't have a complete plan yet of how you're going to do it. You want the go-ahead for what?
I want to go ahead if on these 2 units that are too far away from its condensing unit, and we have to stick these condensing units on the northwest corner of the roof, or if you guys are receptive to the idea of mounting them on the wall near the unit that they serve. But you'll see it.
Mr. Manfres mentioned that?
Yeah, he did, and I said,
Yeah.
I go, well, I like that idea, but I don't know if it'll fly.
Yeah.
And then the other idea was to put a small screen around those units.
Can't restrict the airflow, but enough to
Well,
make it,
if you point the units
yeah, you could still get away with that.
strategically we put the units, again, if we had a quick picture of that, where the fan is, and the fan's actually on the side of the unit, it just blows straight out. So if we do that opposite of where the screening is, we're not restricting flow. So that's a question, is what are we gonna do with those two units? Are you going to be receptive if any exposed piping on the exterior wall? But we can enclose it with line height. Hopefully try and make it blend in would be an option. And then if we could connect to existing downspouts on the condensate to reduce the overall piping runs and enhance the construction cost associated with that. And if you don't like us tying into the existing downspouts, then we could actually add line height, or even, say, a faux downspout right next to it. But still, we have to make the exterior wall penetration so that condensate to tie in with a vertical downspout on the face of the building.
Okay.
I don't think there's any downspouts on the north side, so we're really only talking the east and west of the building. Where either the line height or the faux
Yeah,
downspout.
Mr. Hummel has some questions.
Sure,
Yeah, have you looked into the company Daikin,
yeah.
and oversizing the lines and running them further and keeping them all on the south side?
That's always an option, is to oversize. I don't like to go there personally unless it's an absolute must.
We're
We
very
do
cognizant.
have that, we do
We're-
have that option there.
We're very cognizant of that cupola and surrounding it with 2, 4, 6, 8 condensers is not going to be very attractive. And the other two. Is there a possibility you can look into oversizing those lines and the units and getting them all in the lower area on the south side? I mean, I think
No,
nobody here
well,
would have a problem with that.
We did look at that, Eric. Again, we are limited with the length of the refrigerant pipe from the condensing unit to the indoor evaporator. We
But
can,
that's what the oversizing.
and we've looked at many manufacturers, so we did not hone in on one. We just took like a global look. What's the longest length is that
Yeah.
any manufacturer allows, and we're at about 80 feet. So if we stick everything on that lower roof, there's gonna be those front units on the north side that's gonna exceed the 80 feet, and it will not work. Then we would have to go and look at oversizing it
Yes.
just to meet that length. But length and overcapacity are not a direct relation. In fact, even if you oversize it to, say, from a 2-ton to like a 2.5, it's still going to have identical piping length restrictions.
Well, we're all about aesthetics here, as you know.
So
So-
that's why we're here.
Even putting screens around that's a pretty attractive part of our community, our center of our town. It's not going to be the most attractive thing. If there's some way to go through the attic and get onto that roof in the back, or put them over the edge of the sloped roof on the south side so that they aren't visible, that would, I think, be more attractive to us.
You mean if we could put, so you would not be opposed to mounting condensing units on an exterior wall on the south side?
Well, no, wait, the south side has a pitched roof. There's a relatively flat spot in the middle, and it slopes to the south and to the north.
Okay,
Instead of having those units on the north slope of the cupola, go over past the flat roof center and get down on over the edge there. You know what I mean, Wesley? Over the edge where it slopes down,
so
so
you
they
mean
aren't.
on the south side of the cupola? Got it.
Well, the cupola is on the relatively flat area. Get off
Well-
the flat area and go to the south slope.
Okay, now the main roof of the Etna house is, I mean, it's
Right.
shaped like a barn.
It's like that, and then it comes,
Yeah, it's
the
like
gambrel that
this.
comes to the south
Yeah,
is where it'd be acceptable to have those units. Yeah, you know what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. If that would be, that would be so much more visually attractive if it's possible. And again, we don't try to impose terrible restrictions, but this is one of the icons of the town, and I think it's important to get those condensers someplace other than around the cupola. That's so pretty, and the rest of the flat roof are, especially, these two in the front are, as you noted, are pretty unacceptable.
right.
And then
But
putting them on the
again, so
side of the
what we
building.
What we did, and you can, I'm sure you can all like envision this, so we got a sense of where all the units are, and then we drew a circle about 60 feet in diameter and
Right.
said, well, these two, I don't know what we're gonna do with these two units.
We understand that, we
so-
understand that, but and then putting them on the side of the building, that's gonna be a maintenance nightmare. The best place is this relatively flat well, if any possible way to get it there would be a.
You're
really-
talking on the flat roof of 219?
Yes, down over the edge, out of visual way,
Okay.
and maintain them better, I think it would be a pretty acceptable answer.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, Wesley.
On the, in the alleyway, would be on the, toward the west, they have air conditioning units that are already,
West is up against the bank, right?
yeah, in the alleyway between.
Oh, that little narrow thing, yeah.
Right up at the top, they have a break, and then there's existing air condensing units outside of there.
Oh,
Would you be opposed to us doing the same thing on the south wall? Not necessarily mounting.
the south wall is out of vision, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, I think that'd be great.
Mounting a
Great
brace
idea.
there and putting the condensing unit there, and that would.
You know what I mean, Mr. Finney?
Well, we're trying to get the image to come up, so we can talk about an image rather than things, but.
I have the plans here.
Mhm. And we just went straight to.
And then hopefully
So
that would be
hopefully,
enough.
we can look at the Google
Do
image.
the same thing.
Google Earth
on the other
image.
side, 'cause it's in L.
Does that make sense? All right,
Look down from above, from the heavens.
we'll look down from the heavens, that's right.
What I'm kind of thinking is if we do the same thing on the south side, on the sides of the building, that would give us, it'd be a lot less than 80 feet to be able to, and we could run the.
Right over the edge, see the main picture of the cupola?
Yeah.
To the left of the cupola where that roof then slopes down.
Yeah,
If you can get in that area, that would be out of the view of people driving down the street. I think that would be a lot more
I'm
acceptable.
not sure what I'm looking at here.
Well,
Oh, yeah,
okay,
right,
see the
okay,
cupola?
okay. Yeah, see, so, and we're staying all away from that, the
Well,
north and.
not according to your drawing here, you're right on it. If you can get over the edge of the sloped roof on the west and south side.
Okay.
Here, I
that-
got it right here.
Does that make it over 60 feet, though?
See, this slopes here, it's flat,
Right.
relatively flat in the middle, and then it slopes to another side.
Right.
If you can get over there.
I think that's what we were trying to show.
Well, that's not what your drawing shows. Here's the cupola with these grouped all around a blank sheet. See, 3, 6, 7, 8 of them, and then 2 more over here.
What's that?
If we can get them down
See how this,
on this slope here, right here.
Yeah, but see, this is a steeper slope.
Yeah, right.
oh, okay.
Okay.
But you can put crickets in there.
Well, yeah, they're gonna have to field fabricate something. Because these will sit on rails, equipment rails,
I
that look like a small little I-beam, right?
I saw.
But then they're gonna have to shim it. Because this is a very mild slope.
This is almost flat.
Yeah.
But
and
that's
then-
why, but see, the people driving down the road can see this cupola and they'll be able to see all these around here.
I'm
If there's
not
some,
arguing that.
if some way we can get them on this slope down over the edge,
Okay. Okay. All right, and then again, talking about
well,
downspouts.
putting the water in a downspout, that's fine.
But are you guys opposed to the exterior penetrations that we're gonna have to do with all the comments things like that?
Well, that's another whole, you haven't shown those on the drawing.
Well, right now, we're showing everything going to these service sinks right here.
Yes. So it's interior.
It's interior.
That's fine.
Well, I know it's fine, but I was hoping to have other options.
I see.
That's what I'm
Well,
after.
well, coming through the walls is not really, again, a maintenance problem, they do get stuff growing.
See, with condensate, it's always better just to drain by gravity.
Yes,
And that's what we're
definitely.
trying to do,
Yeah.
right? Now, this will work, it's just.
Oh, those
it's
are
just
pumps, that's pump.
Each evaporator, each indoor
That's
wall
pretty
unit
common now.
has a condensate pump.
To have those condensate pumps.
But I'm just trying to shorten up these runs of, man, if I could just go from here to here into a downspout,
Okay.
that eliminates all of this.
Well, I think we'll all look at that a little bit. Do you think, Bob? He's talking about the interior from his air handling unit. He's gonna have condensate from the air conditioner. He's trying to get it out by gravity. The only way would be to go through the sidewalls. But see, this is the town wall, you know.
That's what I'm asking.
I think it's better to do it where you have a drum with the
Okay.
pumps.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
I know it's a maintenance problem. That Wesley can take it.
okay. All right, well then we'll go, you know, if it was one or two, you guys might buy into it, but we're talking
20,
many.
right?
Well, that's the rooftop units. You're gonna have up to 50, 60 evaporators and you all count them all up, right? So
Can
we
you-
have all those.
Can you get them gravity to central?
Well, that's what we're
station?
trying to do here,
Yeah.
so this is all gonna be under pressure just to get to
Right.
the service center.
Right.
And there's one on each floor. That's the best I could do to hide it all.
Well, I think you're doing a good effort here.
Well, thank you, Mr. Hump. So, I'm taking that, let's go with this on the condensate.
I think that's a good.
I think it's really the only, unless you guys are a little forgiving, but that's
Well,
what I need.
we are forgiving, but poking holes through there isn't right.
I didn't think it's that well either. Now,
Okay.
but again, I'm still concerned, even if we slide these over
Yeah.
here.
No, wait, over here in the pitched roof, so what you have is a roof like this and then down, right, like a barn, like you said.
Right.
So on this side, if you put a bracket, you
So
can
you
put
want
those
all
units up.
these, it'd be better to
Well,
have
in
all
this,
these over here.
yes, it would.
So now, are these okay over here?
Not really.
No.
Well, when we look at that cupola and you see something 3'6", by the time you get that piece under there and get it leveled up off the ground, you're gonna be into the embossed part of the base of the cupola, and you're gonna lose the vision of it.
Okay.
When do you anticipate moving forward with this project?
Well, we kind of wanted to, it's still preliminary.
Okay, still
We wanted
preliminary.
to kind of, before we got, knee deep in it, we wanted to kind of see if we could get some direction as far as what would be acceptable. To know how
Now, what we don't wanna do is complete this whole design, then have.
No, we're waiting.
No,
Oh, sure.
we're-
No, we're waiting.
This is, you're appropriate here, coming in, we're having
Okay.
this
Eric,
discussion.
Eric, what additional information could they provide to the design review committee?
Well, I think we have 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have 10 condensing units that are going to be sprinkled around the cupola and on the north slope of that roof. And if any possible way we can get them on the south slope or in that well, I think it would be acceptable.
My gut feel, and I'm gonna have to go back to the office and really dig into this, but I'm not opposed to any of this. I still think this may be too far, but we'll check that. And then now I'm concerned if we move these back, there may be units over here we might be on the cutting edge of exceeding the pipe.
But there on the north side, it's not as hot either, you know, from the sun, the impact on air conditioning.
I understand, I'm not worried about the capacity, I'm just worried about over pipe length based on what the manufacturers recommend.
They have that enhanced oversized option. I know it's a little bit of an inconvenience, but we've done it on jobs and it does work.
We will look into that, but, again, and then are you opposed, if we line these up over here, there's gonna be some exposed piping on the wall? And
It's out of our vision.
we're still gonna have to cut into the wall,
Yes, you are. I understand.
okay?
But this,
But that's down to
this is
1,
the
2, 3, 4.
front, this is the main street.
Okay.
Main Street
So
here and
here, if I'm gathering this we have a little more,
flexibility. Up onto this a little bit too, if you have to.
and then these we can move over here, and we'll see what we come up with. But my fear is when I go back, I'm gonna run out of length. We will investigate upsizing the equipment to see if that helps us, but I'm not.
Thank you for all your
Yeah,
consideration.
appreciate it.
I'm not all that confident of it. So,
Do we want to rediscuss this with the more new information that you can come up with potentially?
what we
As a
can
group?
do is I can go back, readjust this based on our talk here, and we could have a second meeting if that's where this is headed.
Sure.
Again, I think it would be prudent to do that, and
Sure.
we welcome that.
We
And
do too.
hopefully by
So
then,
that way we're all. on
We
the
are
same
trying to
page.
impose,
our technology in this room will be better, and we can show the Google Earth images I'm looking at, but something's wrong and we can't project good images, so some of us can't see drawings like Eric
I
can.
understand.
And some of
I
us can,
understand.
so if we have a picture, a photo, folks will be able to understand it better.
Okay, okay.
A drone, do you guys have a drone photo of it, do you?
I don't know if we have a drone photo.
A drone photo
I mean, we can get one too, that's not a
Of
problem.
the roof?
Okay, just to see the rooftop and the cupola as it comes around, and hopefully,
You know, we did
If it's
submit
2 weeks or
submit an
more.
aerial view. I don't know if you guys got that. That was just a screenshot from Google Earth.
okay. Well, I think the drone is gonna be a lot cleaner than right now, like I said, I don't know what's going on with this connection. The wires look like they got pulled out, so that could be why I'm not able to.
All right, well, I think if I understand you correctly, we got a little bit of flexibility here. We
oh,
will
you have a
work
lot
on
of
this.
flexibility here.
Yeah,
A lot.
okay. So that's half the battle, so
Yeah.
now we're halfway there.
Let's
There's
hope
10
for
of
more
these
than
down
that,
there.
but
Yeah.
we're here for it.
I think a lot of these are gonna be okay sitting here. My concern, and I'll just be honest, is,
That's Main Street.
This is one of the oldest buildings in town.
Can I ask a question? Would you be opposed on the south side, since it's hidden?
I can't hear you. Wes.
Speaking to Mike,
On the south side, since that's the hidden part of and since you have it's kind of like an L,
Yeah.
you know, you've got the
Yeah.
south side, and
Wes,
so,
he's given us the flexibility on the south side.
okay, so
As far
we're,
as
Don't you think that's good? And you-
Oh, absolutely.
You're
I
there
agree
for
with you.
maintenance on a flat roof too?
I agree with you.
It sets it up better, yeah, because now they have something to pretty much anchor to.
Yeah, this
their
is,
service.
I mean, this is flat, relatively flat up here,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
but down in here, it's so much easier to work on.
Well, yeah, here,
Yeah.
so again, that's half the battle.
Yeah.
And then it's gonna be,
Okay, we're in a sprint.
I in good faith say, well, we'll work on it, but I'm still concerned at these, because I have a limitation for them.
It's okay. Can you come back and tell us that?
Yeah,
Okay?
okay.
Thank you.
All right, so
Thank
that's what we're gonna do on the next shot. We're gonna take all these comments and we're gonna rework this and we'll come back.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
thanks, Mike.
All right.
Any other
Thanks, folks.
discussion or question?
Yeah, is there any last questions?
Anybody else?
Any-
Okay.
Okay. Very
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you.
If it's beneficial to meet in 2 weeks, if this group can come together as a quorum, we could schedule another meeting in 2 weeks. If not, we'll plan on seeing you in another month.
We could do it in 2 weeks. The sooner the better.
Would that be?
That'd be the 25th.
That would be the 25th at 10? Yeah, no, we would welcome that,
All right.
Okay.
absolutely.
25th then at 10.
We'll submit it
Yes.
electronically. Do you guys need, how much advance on new drawings? Would you- A few days, 10 days?
I
Well,
didn't
10
hear
days
the question.
is 2 weeks.
That means
give you 4 days.
That means that I have to work this week.
Right, no,
We don't need it in advance.
you don't need
Day,
an advance?
a day so we can look at it. maybe.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
That's what
Whatever
we'll do.
works for you.
Okay.
All right.
Right.
Thank you all so much for your time and your comments. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
The next item is Ravenna Nutrition signage.
present?
Nobody here except
Eric, it's your
except the
building.
owner.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Did you
Okay.
sign the application?
Yes,
Okay.
I sent that out.
Email.
I think I sent that out to everybody yesterday.
All right.
It's this one, Diane. Yeah.
I signed it after everybody else saw it. I hadn't seen it before. These people are trying very hard here, and they have this logo they want to impose on the window. You know as much as I do about it.
It looks no worse than what's there now. I don't see any problem with it. It's nice, it's not, it meets,
Yeah, it's,
meets the square footage of the window.
Right.
yeah, for some reason, he wants to rebrand the business. It's the same business, he's just using a different,
It needed rebranded from the beginning.
okay.
To me, preventive nutrition meant something to do with health, and I know it's a healthy drink, but I don't think people understood that, a lot of people, that it was, you could get bubble tea and drinks there, you know, and it'd be good for business for them, I think. So, I make motion to accept it as presented.
I'll second that.
Any other comments? Any other comments? You'll call the roll when you're ready, Julie?
Give me a second. Mr. Dudek,
Yes.
Ms. Reedy,
Yes.
Mr. Madonio,
Yes.
Mr. Hummel,
Abstain.
Ms. Kane,
Yes.
Mr. Sodel.
Yes.
Motion passed. Anything else under new? So we're down to old business? Oh, wait,
Business.
what?
Well,
What do you got now?
as I was walking around taking pictures of the.
Oh, wait, that's, I was gonna bring that up under old business.
I'm sorry then.
No, is that okay?
I'm sorry, no. Please.
Well, after we've talked about, you wanna talk about prospectus first,
Yeah, let's do that.
or no? Well, wait a minute, before we talk about prospectus, okay? When you look at that little block over there,
Number one, we're about one.
that's little block one, there are 2 air conditioning units up there, or some sort of units that are quite visible. And it's my understanding that that was never submitted as part of the approval when we gave them some approval to do something. That just got put up. Now, if we're going to have conversation with this company over what's going on in Etna House, then I think we should have a letter directed to the county to bring their bodies in here and come up with a solution to hide those.
Sure.
Okay, so I don't know if we need a motion to recommend a letter from you to get them in here. If that would be the next procedure, I'm not sure what it is.
Yeah, we had issues with permits from them. The electrical company, the electrical contractor called for an inspection, and that's what it was, come to our attention that they hadn't pulled permits. So, yeah, we can certainly address it. I'm not sure where it stands now, because Tiffany takes care of that, but I'll look into it, and I
Right.
agree, we'll bring them in.
And perhaps they can come next month and explain to us
Sure.
why they hired a bad contractor.
Well, they might be able to have some alternatives for it also.
Right,
Okay.
yeah. Maybe we can get a picture of how that roof looks also. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Do we need a motion for that, or we're just, okay,
I'll just do it.
all right. Thank you. Is that okay? No objection? Okay. Then the next item is prospectus, review and approval. I'll be outlined.
I guess I'll take this one.
You can have it.
That would be nice. You have to say something once in a while.
I know. So Julie and I, along with Prospectus folks, had a meeting with SHPO a week ago or so to review the outline. There was obviously some confusion. We thought there was more of a body written. The process They obviously know it better than I do. The process was they get an outline, get it approved, send it to SHPO for approval before they start writing the body. Now, SHPO is paying majority of this report that's being done, or the document that's being created. So, because they're pitching in 2/3, they get to say. And so we have to meet their guidelines. Originally, we were hoping to have about a 20-page document. It's probably over 100 pages because they have to include what SHPO is putting in. So in our conversation with SHPO, we asked if we could still have about a 20-page guideline and put the rest of it on our website as part of the document. And SHPO did agree, said it hadn't been done before, but they will agree that as part of the whole report, it might be over 100 pages, but I call it a walking document that we can hand to people, might be about 20 pages, and referencing stuff back to the website, pictures, photos, things like that, you know, especially if you're into the cornices, details, and things like that. So, in a way, we're breaking ground, new ground with SHPO. So, they've modified based on what SHPO has said and our feedback to a new narrative guideline, outline I should say, which is what you guys have all received. Design review approves this, then in May they should have a preliminary document for us to start reviewing. And, you know, in the end, this is gonna look similar to historic preservation documents that you'd see if you did a web search for something like that. I mean, I think there's a lot of information here. And the bulk of it will be pictures of other houses in town and classifications and calling out certain details and definitions and that sort of thing too.
So that's preliminary though, Bob, right?
Oh, yes, correct.
Because it's 100 pages right now, but this all has to go to council to get an approval
Sure.
for everything
Right.
on there.
That is
So they can do it cafeteria style and say, no, we don't want this and this, so it's preliminary at this point. Is that correct? Okay.
Yeah.
Because it would change. It's going to change, most likely. There'll be something in there that will be changed.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure there will be.
Could be a long process too, who knows?
It could
Look how long it's been already. Yeah, right, yeah.
2021, we started this event. So they think the new time frame, they still think they'll get it done this year. The grant, unless we can get a grant extension, the grant's supposed to be used up this year also. I think I've paid them once or twice from an invoice standpoint.
I don't remember what I've
I know
seen come
once
through.
at least I've paid them, but it's irrelevant. They're gonna stay on budget. They did, because of the length of the document, they have asked for the rest of the $30,000, because of the change of scope based on what SHPO is requiring. So we had budgeted 30 and they'll, at the end, I think originally they were 27.5.
27.5.
So they've said, hey, they've requested the rest. So we're gonna talk about it at the committee meeting Monday night also.
Are they ever going to have any meetings for the public or anything else?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, they're-
Okay. Because so far, it's been pretty disappointing what we've been able to see out there and how they've got it out to the public and so forth. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, they
That
I mean,
it's been a massive waste of money, in my opinion. That's it.
In the end, it's going to be a lesson in history, historical preservation, historical buildings for that matter. That folks enjoy history, visiting historical places. I'm sure they'll embrace the final report.
So we need to approve this.
Yes.
That is correct.
Okay. Anybody else have any other discussion about it?
This is a work in process, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah, so.
So it's if we make a motion, it should be to accept the preliminary report that could have changes as we go along. Wouldn't that be?
So what we're
Correct.
asking is to approve the narrative outline. So you're
Proposed.
approving the outline, not, obviously, they haven't submitted anything else,
Right,
correct?
okay.
Once they start writing the written documents, then that's when you dive in and yay or nay certain things. They have mentioned economic development in,
Finally?
somewhere in here, yes.
Finally?
Yes. Looking for it, it's letter G, somewhere in G. I'm looking for a G. Did they not? I know they did, I just gotta find it.
I think I saw something that was just added not that long ago.
Well, it was one of the things.
It's under Chapter 2,
There it is. yeah.
Historic Preservation and Economic Benefits.
Correct. In chapter, yes, G, chapter 2, G.
Okay, so I need a motion then?
I will move to accept the proposed narrative outline.
Second.
Any other discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Dudek,
Yes.
Ms. Reedy,
Yes.
Mr. Medania,
Yes.
Mr. Hummel,
Yes?
Ms. Kane,
Yes.
Mr. Sodel.
Yes.
Anything else? Then I'll entertain a
I
mo.
have one question here.
Sure.
This is, I should have brought it up when we were approving the last minutes. There was a question in March 14th minutes.
You're on the phone.
What, pardon me?
You were on the phone. Here.
I didn't know what to
Here.
do with it. There was something we were gonna look into, lumens. We were gonna look into lumens on lights.
So they're actually gonna address this. They will address it in, that was one of the things we talked about. They're gonna use, most likely use, was it the national standard
Yeah,
or the state?
something like that, yeah. I think it's the national.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, that'll be part of this, and
Yeah.
it's interesting because that's something that planning commission is looking into also.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The question of how to measure them.
Okay. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you, everyone, for coming.
Thank you, Mr. Duda.